Today, we're diving into a biological detective story. We're going to uncover how a single invisible fiber can, over the course of decades, lead to absolutely devastating lung disease.
So let's start with a story that's, well, it's all too common. Let's call him Tom. He's 60, and if you go back to the 1980s, he spent his days on construction and renovation projects. And for years, I mean decades, he felt perfectly fine. Healthy, active, no reason at all to think something was wrong.
But just recently, all of that changed. Tom got diagnosed with asbestosis, a serious chronic lung disease. And here's the really shocking part. The exposure that caused it happened more than 25 years ago. The symptoms, they only just started showing up.
And that brings us to the big mystery we're going to unravel today. What was actually happening inside Tom's lungs all those years ago? And how could a process so destructive stay completely silent for so long? Okay, let's get into it.
To really get how asbestos pulls this off, we first have to appreciate the incredible defense systems our lungs already have. And then, we'll see how the unique shape of these fibers lets them sneak right past security, almost like a biological Trojan horse.
Think about it. Every single day, you breathe in thousands of particles, dust, pollen, you name it. But your respiratory system is ready for them. Air comes in, goes down your windpipe, and then into smaller and smaller branching tubes. This whole network is lined with mucus and these tiny hair-like structures called cilia. It's this incredible self-cleaning conveyor belt called the mucociliary escalator, and it's always beating upwards, pushing all that trapped gunk out so you can get rid of it.
But here's the thing. Asbestos just doesn't play by the same rules. You see, a normal dust particle is kind of round and clunky. It hits the sticky walls of your airways and gets trapped. Easy. An asbestos fiber, on the other hand, is long, thin, and perfectly needle-like. Its aerodynamic shape means it can line up with a flow of air, like a javelin, and just sail right past those defenses, traveling deep into the most delicate parts of your lungs.
And this isn't just a random observation. Health agencies have a very specific definition for the fibers that cause the most trouble. A regulatory asbestos fiber is longer than 5 micrometers and has a length-to-width ratio of at least 3:1. This isn't arbitrary, it's physics. These are the exact dimensions that are small enough to get inhaled deep into the lungs, but way too long for your body's cleanup crew to handle easily.
So it really all boils down to what scientists call the 3 Ds. First, you've got dose. That's how many fibers you're exposed to. Then there's dimension, that long, skinny shape we just talked about. And finally, durability, how tough the fiber is, how well it resists being broken down by your body. It's that combination that makes asbestos such a uniquely persistent threat.
Okay, so the fiber has slipped past the main security gate. Now what? Well, it's made its way to the tiny air sacs, where oxygen actually gets into your blood. And this is where the real battle begins. Except this is a fight the immune system just wasn't built to win.
See, deep in your lungs, you've got this elite cleanup crew, immune cells called alveolar macrophages. You can think of them as microscopic security guards. Their whole job is to roam around, find any foreign stuff that gets that deep, and just eat it, a process called phagocytosis. Against bacteria or regular dust, they are incredibly good at their job.
But when one of these macrophages comes up against a long asbestos fiber, it meets its match. The macrophage recognizes the fiber as an invader, and it tries to swallow it whole, just like it's supposed to. But the fiber is often longer than the immune cell itself. It just can't get it all the way in. This is what's known as frustrated phagocytosis. The macrophage is stuck, unable to finish the job, and it basically panics.
Now, in this panicked, frustrated state, the macrophage sounds a chemical alarm that never ever shuts off. It starts pumping out a flood of distress signals, including these really damaging molecules called reactive oxygen species, you might know them as free radicals, and other inflammatory messengers. It's like it's screaming for help, but because the fiber never goes away, the alarm bell just keeps ringing for years.
And that non-stop, decades-long inflammation is what causes asbestosis. Your body senses this constant injury, so it tries to repair the damage. Those alarm signals call in other cells that lay down collagen, which is the same stuff that makes up scar tissue. Now, for a cut on your skin, that's great, but in the delicate, flexible tissues of the lung, it's an absolute disaster. So what does this actually do to the lungs? Well, that healthy, stretchy lung tissue gets replaced by thick, stiff scar tissue. This changes everything. The lungs can't expand and contract like they should, so your lung volume gets smaller. The scar tissue makes it harder for oxygen to get into your blood, and the end result for the person is a slow, steady, and irreversible shortness of breath.
As if all that wasn't bad enough, this constant state of inflammation and cellular damage also paves the way for something even worse. This chaotic battlefield inside the lungs actually creates the perfect environment for cancer to take root.
Scientists think it happens in two main ways. The first is just physical damage. When a cell tries to divide, that long, rigid fiber can literally get in the way, messing with the chromosomes and damaging the cell's DNA. The second is chemical damage. The iron in some types of asbestos fibers can generate those free radicals we talked about, which then directly attack and mutate a cell's DNA, sometimes flipping the switch for cancer.
This whole process can lead to lung cancer, but it's most infamously linked to something called pleural mesothelioma. This is a very rare but incredibly aggressive cancer that forms in the thin lining around the lungs and chest. And its connection to asbestos is just undeniable.
And this brings us right back to our original question about Tom. Why did it take so long for him to get sick? It's because of the latency period. The time between that first exposure and a diagnosis can be anywhere from 20 to an incredible 50 years. The damage is cumulative. It's a slow burn of inflammation and genetic mistakes happening at a microscopic level, completely silent for decades.
Because this danger is so serious and so delayed, regulatory bodies like OSHA have set what's called a permissible exposure limit, or PEL. It's 0.1 fibers per cubic centimeter of air averaged over a full workday. There's also a short-term limit of 1 fiber per cubic centimeter that should never be crossed for more than 30 minutes.
But, and this is absolutely critical to understand, this limit does not mean it's a safe level. As this statement from NIOSH makes crystal clear, it's a risk reduction standard. They recommend reducing exposures to the lowest possible concentration because, scientifically, there is no confirmed level of exposure that is considered totally free of risk.
So when we think back to Tom, we can see his disease wasn't a single event. It was the final outcome of an invisible war waged inside his lungs for over 25 years. A war started by fibers he couldn't see or feel, and fought by immune cells that were simply outmatched.
And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? The entire destructive cascade, the inflammation, the scarring, the cancer, it all starts with inhaling that first fiber. Since the damage is irreversible and can lie hidden for a lifetime, the only true way to prevent these diseases is to prevent that initial exposure. With asbestos, protection isn't just the best plan, it's the only one that works.
Thank you for joining us for this explainer.